there. This is Shireen Ryan, and I'm here with Neil Burgess. And this is welcome to the Heart of Life Connection. In the Heart of Life Connection, we want to get to know people who work in the metaphysical and how they help people and what they do. And for those souls that are awakening or already know, I want to bring some really interesting guests, and you couldn't get a more interesting guest than Neil Burgess. Neil Burgess does Akashic readings, and he did one with me, and it was so eye-opening, and it kind of just flipped my whole world around. So welcome, Neil, to our first episode of the Heart of Life Connections. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here in Thailand, sunny day, and everything's good here.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about who you are. From your accent, we know you're not born in Thailand, probably.
Yeah. Okay, I'm from the UK. I was a medium for maybe about 20, 30 years in the UK. And I was directed to come to Asia. At that time, I came just in time for the tsunami, and it changed my life completely. Yeah, it changed everything. So I began working with some people in Sri Lanka, and then I went to Cambodia, where I sponsored a monk through university and started working with them. And we built a school together. I worked at the school. And then I moved on to Vietnam, where I worked with the blind and disabled in a pagoda there, with Buddhist monks. And then I moved to Thailand, where I've settled down. I started doing mediumship and healing here. And then my path just changed to Akashic Records, which is completely different energy. It's wonderful. It gets me to help so many people, put them on the right path. I think this is now especially the time for people to switch on to who they are, remember who they are. And like in your reading, it was awesome. You were amazing. And just to get people to switch that back on, to get their light shining again.
Yeah.
And that's what I try and do all the time now. And now, because we have Zoom and Skype, I can reach everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. So I have clients in America, mainly America now, but China, Malaysia, Singapore, UK, all over.
And I found you through TikTok.
Yeah. What happened there was, a lady there had a reading, and she just put a video on. I didn't even know she'd done it. And I got a lot of clients from TikTok. The funny thing is, I've been in touch with her, and she's saying I have to make a video. And as you can see, I haven't got a face for video.
Oh, stop. No one cares. They only care about who you are and the light you shine.
Yeah. True. So I'm sort of putting that together, trying to find, I want it to be a little bit funny, just to appeal to people. And
When did you know you had the gift when you were a medium? When did you know?
Oh, that's a long story. But cut it short. When I was about 15, my father died when I was 8. Oh. And one evening we were watching the TV, my mother, and I heard somebody calling my name. And when I looked around, my father was stood there.
Oh,
and
wow.
After I scraped my mother off the ceiling, she was so shocked. It started then, and then. But because we were a Christian family, we kept it down and stopped it. And then it just came back like an express train in my late 20s. And I met a medium who said that I was a light and that she was going to train me. And she trained me up as a medium and took off from there. I didn't even think I could do it. I didn't believe it. It sort of came to me. I didn't go looking for it. And it was. I remember that first lesson when she had me sat with my eyes closed and saying, "Oh, you've got somebody with you," and no, I don't believe it. And she was so strict that she wouldn't let me open my eyes. I sat there, it felt like eternity, sat with my eyes closed and then I started seeing things, and then that was it. I couldn't shut it down after that.
Wow, that's wild. So tell me what I mean, I know, but tell the audience, what is an Akashic record and why would anybody be interested in them?
Okay, the definition of the Akashic Records are your own records of your soul from the time you leave God to the time you go back. Not that we leave God, but we try our own experience on earth. Right. And the Akashic Records contain everything, every deed, every thought, everything that we do. And it's not just a memory bank, it's interactive. So it means when somebody like myself can get in there and to get the information, I can find out what your life purpose is. I can find out about your past lives, how they're affecting this life. And sort of like what we find is that people get into cycles, they attract their own partners, or the same thing keeps happening over and over in their lives. I remember one lady I had, and she her marriage was bad because she had problems regarding sex and money and stuff like that. And it sounded a bit cliche, but she was actually a nun in a past life.
Oh, wow.
She made vows of chastity and austerity and obedience. And so when we opened it up, it all made so much sense to her. And then there's something I can do to break that contract. We can separate the contract from that life to this life. So she doesn't have to follow those vows anymore. So yeah.
What about fears? Like a lot of people have fears of swimming, fears of getting sick, fears of heights.
Yeah, a lot of this is past life stuff as well. You might have had an accident in the past life, or like a boating accident, or you might have drowned or something. A lot of that comes up. There's so many people have different things. I had one guy, he had panic attacks all the time.
Lots of people have those.
Well, he said he just felt like this pain in his chest, this sharp pain. When we looked at his past life, he was a highwayman. Highwayman, like a robber.
Yeah.
What happened? He was in this past life. He was very arrogant, and he was only about 21, and he robbed the wrong stagecoach, and he got shot.
Oh.
And it was such a shock to him. So now every time he stresses, he gets that feeling, that shock feeling.
Oh, wow, that's wild.
Yeah, it just opened it up to him. That guy, by the way, had a business, and he's emailed me since to say, since I give him the information from the Akashic Records, he's making life-changing money.
I love it.
Yeah, so it helps people practically as well as spiritually. Yeah.
Right, in their day-to-day life, they don't know exactly why they might have been born. I had 2 kids, right? Both very different, but born a certain way, born with certain fears and born with certain personalities. Personalities, it just seems like have been cultivated for a long, long time. And I mean, we had a family reading with a shaman, and pointed to one of my kids and said, "She's been a martyr before. Don't let her take your family down again. And you don't need to be a martyr. Just focus on your own life." And it was like eye-opening because she always carried the flag for everybody, no matter what. She was very at the age of 10. She was very much into equal rights for gay people and Black people, and I mean, she's way ahead of her time, but then the shaman kind of told us why. So she's always been that kind of vocal leader. So that's the kind of things that you can tell people, and you don't tell them about all their lives. You just pick out, what do? What's your process? Yeah.
What happens is when I open the records, I say a prayer. It's a sacred prayer that we have, and it opens the records. Now, people think that you go into like a big hall or a library or something like that. It's not. It's just all of a sudden I start to see light, and then I start to get answers, and I'm asking the questions in my mind. And then I've forgotten your question, Sherry. Oh yeah, why the couple of past lives? Right. So what happens is I ask for the past lives that relate most to this life, how I can help somebody. So I could tell you about some boring life. Not every life we've had is like exciting or anything that. So I could say to you, oh yeah, you lived a life, you were married, you did this, you did that, nothing happened, nothing big. and you'd be bored with it. So I ask what's relevant to this life and how I can help you.
Right.
So.
And you work with my guides and your clients' guides, right?
Oh God, yeah. And what's developed in these readings now is a lot of people want to meet their guides. So that's what I do. I have techniques I can use, and I get people to meet their guide. Rather than you say to me, "Oh, who's my guide? What do they look like? What's the name?" Then I just paint a picture for you. So what I do is I take you on a journey and get you to see your own guide. Get you to find the name, get you to see them, to describe them to me, and then it's more personal to you. And then I work with that guide and then leave the guide with you. And before we finish, I always ask the guide how you can communicate, how you can continue the communication. And it works like that.
Well, how do you read these Akashic Records? Does it look like a book to you?
No.
How do you read them?
When I first got into this, I really expected, because there's a guy called Edgar Casey from the early part of last century, and he did it under hypnosis, and he saw a huge library, a huge hall of records. So I asked my guides why I didn't see this, and they said because the only way they could get Edgar Casey to see it, he didn't know anything about digital or internet or anything like that. So he just projected a library, and that's what he could deal with. That's how he.
Oh, that's how he could conceptualize it.
That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So for me, I asked them to show me the records, and they showed me, and it was like minute glittering symbols. If you think like all the symbols on the Matrix, it was like that, but tiny glittering symbols, millions of them.
Wow.
So
like Matrix, but with symbols, not ones and zeros. Okay.
Yeah. It's just like raining, like a rain, but all glittering.
Wow.
So when I open your records, I just start asking the questions, and then they will show me pictures in my mind, like the past lives. I see scenes. One scene I remember, the one that stuck out was it was a lady in Victorian times, and she got murdered in her bed.
Oh my gosh.
Now, the other part of it, she got sexually assaulted as well, but I didn't tell her that part.
So you didn't tell her that part? Oh no.
But she said to me, "Can I ask, was I raped in that life?" And because I described the scene, and I said, "Yeah, you were. What made you say that?" And she said, "Because it's happened exactly as you described in this life."
Wow.
She said, "But I escaped." She said, "But everything you said there is what happened in this life." So, yeah, they show me pictures, or I just start talking, and I don't even know what I'm saying half the time, and I don't even know what I'm talking about a lot of the time. Stuff that people ask me, I haven't a clue, and I just start talking and tell them, and then I can see the light bulb goes off with them, and they're happy with it.
So you actually see it. You don't necessarily hear it, or do you see it and hear it? And
see it and hear it.
All three?
Oh yeah. When I first became a medium, that was the test to see if I had all three. And,
oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because I have clairaudient, and once in a while I'll see an apparition. I saw Lady Di walk through my living room the day she passed on. And I didn't know she had passed on. And I timed it back to the exact time that they said she died. And I thought, wow, I saw her apparition. So every once in a while, I'll see something. But, when you're a medium, you see it all the time.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Well, what I scary?
Was, when I was younger, I really got into it. And I used to because I had my own circle. I had my own development circle. And I developed into what's called a transfiguration medium. And this sounds creepy, but my face changes. Yeah.
Seriously? So they enter your body, and then your face changes like the person?
Yeah, it's more done with like shadows and light. I don't sort of like my face doesn't. Yeah. And what happened was I had a friend who knew me before I got into all this, and I was telling him about it, and he came to my house, and I said, we can do it in the mirror, I can show you. And we started, and he said, oh, I can see an old Chinese man with a beard. I went, yeah, that's my guy.
Wow.
But then what happened was his brother, who died 14 years earlier, came through clear as a bell. It scared him, so I had to like calm it down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily your face, but the way somebody would perceive your face with energy. What do you call that?
It's transfiguration.
Transfiguration. You don't do that anymore?
No, I can, but I don't, because I just deal with Akashic energy now.
Okay.
But with me doing that, I used to get invited to a lot of seances, because like when you have, it's called a physical medium. So when you have a physical medium, the energy is so much stronger in the seance. And I've seen things that even I didn't believe.
Wow.
Just great. I've seen things appear in the middle of a room, just out of nowhere. Seen all around. I've had spirit touching me, talking to me.
How can you tell it's real versus it's not? Like, what if aliens came down and it was real and you could actually touch them? How would you know that that's not a vision and that's actual?
How you can tell it's a spirit and not a real person?
Right. Mm-hmm.
For me, it's they're like a little bit see-through.
Oh, okay. Translucent.
And when they touch you, it feels like a glove. That's what it feels like. Yeah, it feels like wearing a glove. And we used to get all sorts of messages, and even in my own development circle, we had things moving around the room and things appearing. And yes, I met a lot of interesting people, a lot of really developed people that could do stuff like this. But it's one of those things with mediumship, you can't do it at will. You can. I remember this really quite famous medium, and he had a lot of other mediums come to watch him, and nothing happened. Oh. And he said, I was so embarrassed. Spirit just didn't turn up for some reason. But yeah, the physical stuff, it made me feel a bit like a sideshow. It made me feel. So I didn't want to do that too much. So, and my partner, when I first met him, I told him I could do all this stuff, and he didn't want to see it. But in the end, I showed him, so he's not scared anymore.
Does your voice change too, or just your face?
No, just my face. But what happens as well is when spirit or my guides come to me, they usually come just before I'm sleeping. So they wait till my partner's asleep.
Right.
And then I see all this stuff, or I get information, and I have to get up and write it down so I don't forget it. So,
well, I mean, once I had the flu so badly that I know that spirit was fooling with me, laughing around me. There was a dog. I heard the chain of the dog like licking my ear, and I just remember saying, "You guys all go away. I'm sick. I'm not actually looking to talk to you right now." But I thought, how do I ever get back into that? Because I would love to be awake and not like in a deep flu fog, and so I know it's real. I never can get back there myself. So is it something you can learn, or?
For the mediumship part, yeah, you can go for training. If you've got the gift, like you obviously have, so you need a medium just to bring that out in you. And at first, when you see it in your mind. And you think, oh, it's imagination, but you develop it. And I can remember we'd been in my development circle, and one of the ladies who sat with me after the circle said, oh, can you get in touch with my grandmother? Can you try and contact her? So I was sat with my eyes closed, nothing. When I opened my eyes, here's the grandmother, dusting in my house, cleaning the house. And I said, does your grandmother look like this? And then she said, yeah. I said, is she a cleaner or something? She said, yeah, she was always cleaning. She can stay. She can clean my house, she can stay. And that was the first one I saw, like out of my body that I could see. And then after that, I could just see it all the time then. But I closed that down.
Does your dad still come to talk to you ever? Or?
Yeah, what happened was I closed down for a while in Thailand. And then the other side of me is I do healing work, a lot of healing
Oh,
work.
okay. Reiki?
Yeah, Reiki. Started with Reiki, but then it developed, and I can do like long distance healing. Very
Oh, I
successful.
love it. So that's you
So,
have a whole cafeteria of things you can do.
yeah, whole catalogue.
The whole catalog.
Yeah, my ex-boss from my day job in England phoned me and said he was ill, but he knows all the stuff that I can do. He's seen me do it. So he asked me to send him the healing. And then, so when I was preparing, my father came and he said, "Oh, you're closed down. I need you to open up, and I'm going to do it with you." And so we worked together. And when you think about it, my father died when I was 8, and so I didn't know much about him, but I know so much about him now.
Wow.
Because I sat with him, talked to him, asked him about a lot of things. And then when I was really getting into the Akashic Records, he came to me and he said, "I have to go now." And it was really emotional. And I said, "I don't want to go." And he said, "Yeah, I have to go." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "I need to show you something." And then I saw a whole team of people in ropes, really. And he said, "These are the people you're going to be working with. I need to move on now."
Oh, he's passed you on to a whole set of guides.
Yeah. And it was emotional because I didn't want him to go because I've got used to working with him as a guide. It was lovely to know him. Because I'd only heard like some bad things about him. And he wasn't that guy. That was just a part of him. And I found out things about him.
So should people be afraid of this? Like when you do a reading, has anybody ever been afraid, or what transformational things have happened in your practice that you would like to share with us?
Okay. One thing is people are afraid with the mediumship because they're frightened that I'm going to leave them with a spirit in the house, or I'm going to do this, or But the Akashic Records, I have to say, is you never hear bad things. The only bad thing you might hear is from a past life. Oh, okay. The Akashic Records want you to be motivated, to be inspired. So they will give me the information to raise you to your best self. Remember, this is like a light that's like a divine light. So they're not going to put you down or anything like that. You're not going to hear anything you don't want to hear. And it will all be to raise you up.
Right.
Now, I had people, there's 2 ladies, very, very recently. One lady, she said she felt homesick all the time, her body was hurting, and I didn't know. So I opened her records, and all of a sudden this light hit me. This lady was a light in a previous life. She wasn't a human, she was an energy. And she's come here for a specific reason. She's like on a mission. And it was bizarre when what I was seeing for her. And I said, you can't operate your body properly. There's something not functioning. She said, "Yeah, that's right." And I said, "Because you're not used to being in a body." I said, "It's like you going back to the 16th century and knowing what you know and not being able to use it."
Right.
So, and I said, you feel homesick because Earth isn't your home. You were from somewhere else. To cut it short, 3 days later, I had another reading so similar to that. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So, in 2 different states in America. So I asked if they wanted to contact each other.
Wow.
So now they're in communication. They're like really good friends.
That's fantastic.
So I decided to do a 3-way reading, a joint reading on Zoom. And the second lady, I said to her, "I think it's light language." She started channeling light language. I don't know if you heard light language.
I've never heard it.
It puts you out, puts you to sleep, and it just does something to you, makes you feel fantastic.
So it's not like speaking in tongues or anything.
It's like that, yeah. But if you go to a light language session, you lay down and they start speaking and you just go out. And then you feel like, you just feel like blessed or something. And then, so this lady started to channel light language. So the other one, I said to her, she's going to trigger you, she's going to trigger something in a minute, but I don't know what. Right. And the other one said, "Oh, I can't do it. But then the other one starts doing like sign language like this. And then writing all these symbols. So I said to her, maybe you're doing like light language for the deaf or something like that, maybe, or maybe on a deeper level. So these two have now really taken off with it, really taken off with it. It's amazing.
So they have a YouTube channel or something?
Not yet. One of them's on Instagram. I think she's called Divine Feminine for Life, and she's selling all these pictures with all the symbols on now.
You know, I honestly would love to interview those people. That would be fantastic.
I tell you what, I'm in touch with her, especially call her Ali. So I'll ask her.
All right.
And I'll put you in touch. I'll send like an email.
Sounds fantastic.
So yeah, I mean, they've just started off on this journey, but it's like taken off so much.
Yeah.
And like the reading made so much sense. She was clueless before. When I say I don't mean that drugged. I mean she had no idea who she really was, and now she's just flying. She's flying with
because she has the knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lady from Hong Kong, an Indian lady, and she worked in a school for boys. And she didn't like it. And I said to her, you're in the wrong place, and you need to be working with girls. And you need to be showing girls about respecting their own bodies and everything. And we got talking about things, and I said to her, you're going to be leaving this job, and there's job opportunities coming up in diversity with other cultures and that. 3 weeks after that, she emailed me to say she didn't believe it. She didn't believe me. She didn't believe in her. Blah, blah, blah. So I sent her an email saying, it doesn't matter if you believe in me or not.
Right.
But please believe in yourself.
Right.
6 weeks after that, she'd left her job. She'd found a job in diversity, working with Indian girls. Everything, it all just came about what she had to know, and it just directed her in the right direction.
And she's a now?
She even came to Chiang Mai to meet me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she came from Hong Kong, and we met up. It was Christmas Day last year. We met up, and it was great. Everything going fine for her.
Have any of your readings been somebody famous? Like you find out that there was some king or queen or singer?
Yeah. Funny enough, not many, but one guy came in, and he was a British guy, and the funny thing about his reading, what I remember, he talked more than I did, because I had to keep saying to him, you cannot just be quiet so I can give you your reading. But he came through, it was a king, but it was a very, going back a long, long time, I hadn't even heard the name of this king. Yeah. And it was back to maybe, I don't know, 6th or 7th century, something like that. And so he researched that, but I don't know what he did with that. But his life's changed. He's now teaching yoga somewhere. And so there's one lady that stands out to me for, it was a very horrible past life, a very extreme one. She came to me, she was a French lady in the 70s, and she said her father used to beat her all the time as a child, and really treated her badly, and she'd had bad luck all her life. And she as a girl, she trained to be a ballerina, but then she got a really bad infection in her toenails that was so painful it stopped her dancing, and she still had that. And this was like when she was 15, 16. So when I looked in her past lives, she was a slave in her past life, and her father was her owner or a trader or something like that. And he used to beat her in this past life. And at 15, she ran away, and he caught her and he crippled her, so she couldn't run away again. And what happened was something had triggered him to think he was still her owner when she was a kid. And with him beating her, it triggered her past life contract.
Oh, wow.
So she became that slave. So when she was 15, her body self-sabotaged. And that's why she developed the infection. And that cleared up after the reading, that toenail infection. She was 70. She was 70. She'd had it all her life. And when there was a lot involved in that reading, and it explained so much to her. Really explained, it opened everything up. And yeah, that was a really, really extreme one.
Have you done it for yourself ever?
Yeah, but not. I've done past life things before. I've been around a long time, Shireen, so I've done
Oh, you and me both then.
past life regression stuff.
Maybe we knew each other in Mesopotamia or wherever you said I was from.
Yeah, you go back a long way.
Yeah.
So, no, I remember, we talked earlier, you burnt your karma. You've done so much good work.
This might not be our road show, our first road show, they would say in America.
Yeah. So, you've done a lot of good things in your life. A lot of good things, your past lives. So
it helped me. And it really, hearing all that just made me feel like, really? Because I thought I came into this life with all this karma I had to take care of. And that's what I focused on, was the karma I had to take care of. And then when I had your reading with you, it was like, let go of all that. You're done with karma. You're just here to help people. I was like, whoa. It was liberating. It was like somebody let me out of jail. That's how I felt. Like that's the kind of transformation that you give people. You know what I mean?
A lot of people say that they feel liberated. And a lot of people, when I'm telling them things, they say, oh, I had this in the back of my mind already. You just like brought it forward. It's stuff, that I was thinking that maybe I should do. Do it. You've got one shot at it. And most people are on a mission, especially in this life. There's something going on in this life. And I really think the COVID thing is like, it's speeding things up in some ways and slowing other stuff down. I think there's big changes going on.
That's funny you say that, Neil, because, there's a lot of this talk in America about December 21st and all the planets aligning in one line with the sun. Like all of our planets are aligning on the 21st. And what they're talking about is like, we're going to be able to see the 5D more. Everybody's that's open to it. There's a certain group of people that are going to be able to see things that they normally couldn't see. Maybe people from other planets who you can only see in a certain dimension. You're going to be able to see things that you couldn't see, feel things that you couldn't feel. People are getting vertigo. Like I've gotten a lot of vertigo and dizziness, and they're saying that is related to this. And the fact that you also said that you think this year or this timing, a lot of change is happening. Do you have any insight on that?
Not really, and I'll tell you why. I purposely haven't looked.
Oh,
people ask me all the time, have you looked into the COVID thing? Have you looked into it? Because my life now is flowing, and I don't look to see anything.
You don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, I just like it to flow. At the moment, I've been like teaching a lot, teaching the Akashic Records.
Okay.
And I do that in Chiang Mai, and different levels going on here. And I'm trying to put together, the way I teach it, or the way I was taught, is you have an attunement. It's similar to a Reiki attunement, but it's on levels. So I'm figuring out how to pass that over online. Okay. So what I did is, there's a lady in Australia that I attuned to Reiki Master online to see if I could do it. And the thing was, I didn't even tell her that I'd done that. I told her I'd tuned it to Reiki, she was level 2.
Oh.
And she thought I was just doing more level 2 work with her. So after I did it, after about a week, I said, how do you feel? She went, I feel like I've got more power. Something's going on, it's changed everything. I went, yeah, because you're a Reiki Master now. And she went, really? I went, yeah, it's a ring. You've got the attunement. So I thought, right, if I can do that, I should be able to pass on the Akashic stuff. But there's a lot of other ways you can do it, through hypnosis or through meditation. But the way I teach it, it's a very quick way. So I can pass the attunement from me to you or to whoever wants to learn.
How about losing weight? Can you pass something on to heal me from not being able to lose weight?
No, the powers aren't like that.
I just want to make sure we, figure out where the boundaries are. Because I remember when I asked you for a reading, I was acting like it was a psychic reading. And so can you tell us a little bit about what the difference, now we know what an Akashic reading is, but how is it different than a psychic reading?
Okay, so I've done both. So psychic readings, or if you go for a tarot reading, it's all to do with the cards. It's how the reader interprets the cards, and it's telling your future. It's telling you what's coming. With that, not many people have that much exciting lives. So if you're doing like a year reading, you have to pull things out of these cards.
Yeah.
So it's telling the future and relying on the cards, on the props.
Right.
Which is fair enough. It's very valid. If it's mediumship, then the whole point of mediumship, people come because they want to contact somebody that's passed away.
That's on, right?
But a good medium will give evidence of everlasting life, of survival of the soul. So they will give you anecdotes of and information that other people couldn't have known from somebody that's passed over, that's transitioned. And the Akashic readings are totally different energy. It's like higher energy, and it's giving you the information that you need. It's based on the questions. So whatever's going on in your life. Like if you came to me without a list of questions, I could give you a reading, but you might not be interested. It might be stuff that you're not concerned about. But if you come to me and say, something about your business or your karma or what past lives, why am I attracting this kind of person? I can look at that and I can just pull it out of the Akashic Records and say, this happened, this is happening because it happened in a past life. This is how you change it. And this is how you move forward. But mainly it's saying to you, this is why you're here this time. It's just that you can't remember. And I'm just clicking that switch.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a light, but most are on like pilot light. But some people like yourselves have got it lit. And think of yourself as the candle lighting a lot of other candles.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's your job. That's what you were doing. Part of who you are, Jareen. That's part of your thing. You were a light, and you were giving that spark to other people so that they can flourish in their lives. Exactly. That's why you don't have to worry about any karma or anything like that, because you've done so much that it's all burnt, it's all untangled and burnt off anyway. So
that's great news.
Yeah.
I can just focus on helping people.
Yeah, you're okay. And part of your thing is
I'm okay.
that
I'm an open book.
I'm just going to say that. You shouldn't have said that. I was going to say you're an open book. And some people take advantage of that. That's what you
right.
need.
I remember you telling me that being an open book doesn't always help me. Yeah.
It doesn't. It's good for a lot of things, but some people are using that just for their own ends. So you need to be careful of that.
So what's next for you, Neil? Just that you want to do better and better with Akashic Records, or is training the next thing, or is there something on the horizon you still haven't done?
Right. Okay. Before I tell you about that, I just want to tell you that I do have a website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. globalakasha.com. And there's tons of information on there because I've worked so hard on the blog to free everything up, because all the information, some people, other Akashic readers, copyright everything and you have to buy the book or whatever. I put it all online, so it's all out there free. Right. And on Instagram,
Instagram and Twitter at Global Akasha, right?
Global Akasha.
Yeah.
So what's coming up for me is my very first teacher a long time ago said to me that I was going to be doing spiritual alchemy, which I realized is the Akashic Records. But it happened in this year, and I've met an actual real life alchemist.
Wow.
Who makes tinctures and herbal remedies. So I was interested. I went to meet him, and I think that the first meeting we were very suspicious of each other.
Oh.
He called me a mind reader all the time. I said to him, if I could read minds, I'd make a lot more money than I do. But we got talking, and I asked him to teach me how to make these herbal tinctures. Because what he does is he breaks down plants, herbs. It's just amazing. He separates, each plant has a spirit, a body, and a soul.
Wow.
And the soul part is the essential oil. And the spirit is taken out into alcohol. And that's why in the UK we call alcohol spirits. We don't call it liquor.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. That's what it's
Mind
called.
blown!
Yeah, it's the spirit of the plant.
I learned something today.
So now, when I've been learning this, and we've sort of had long talks with each other, I said to him, I want to learn. I want to be an alchemist. So he's teaching me. It's costing me a lot of money, but he's teaching me. Yeah.
Can you trade with him? Can you like read his records and get a trade?
Well, he won't let me.
Bummer.
He's very guarded, and but he's a great guy. And yeah, they sell all this herbal stuff online. I can't remember what they call it. I'm just looking in my papers now. That's their stuff. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah.
It's on Etsy.
Maya.
Yeah, it's on Etsy. But they do a lot of good work, and so I'm learning how to do that, and I'm making my own blend, my own tincture for me.
Oh wow! You going to ship it to the United States if we want to get some?
Yeah, everywhere they do it, and on Etsy. But like, I'm excited to be doing that because what's happened is the alchemy is coming up when I'm doing readings, not
really?
About plant stuff. It's about there's like somebody I was telling them to break their lives down, and it's the same process as that you do with the plant, and things weren't working in the life, so I was telling them how to take this part out and then put the life back together. As a more powerful thing. Yeah, so it's helping me. And the great thing is I contacted my first ever teacher from like 30 odd years ago, and I spoke to her on Zoom last week.
Yeah,
we connected medium. She is international mediums. She mainly Germany, Switzerland, UK, things like that, and she teaches a lot. But I ended up paying back. I give her an Akashic reading.
Oh, I love it.
So she helped me all those years ago and give me readings, and now I can give her a totally different kind of reading, and she loved it. She absolutely loved it.
Well, ask your alchemist if he has a weight loss herb.
Yeah, well, I'll ask him for it.
You'll be selling a lot if it works, let me tell you. That's all we care about over here, getting thin. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe a hair restorer for me.
Yeah, you need hair restored. Other people I know would love that. Are there any final thoughts or messages for people watching this? This whole thing is just fascinating to me.
Yeah,
fascinating. It's the answer I need right now, because I have been reading like the soul, Life Between Lives. I read Michael P. Newton. I all Brian Weiss's books that talked about past lives. So. And Akashic Records, and I learned that from those books. But then when I met you, it was like exactly what I wanted.
The thing is, with an Akashic reading, you should have. You don't have to come to me, but have an Akashic reading, because it will tell you your life purpose, and that's what you need to know. You need to know why you're here, and do something with it, and it'll just make your life so wonderful. And I've got to say this. One thing I've learned is from doing these readings that the rise of women is happening. Women, you are going to see your day very soon, and I think it's going to be in the next 5 or 6 years. The divine feminine is rising, and it's going to be a time for peace, equality, and women are bringing in the age of Aquarius. I'm convinced of that, and I've met so many women. You were part of it. So many women who are part of it. Yeah, you're definitely part of it, Shireen.
Well, I mean, I see it happening in our country just recently. First woman of color from Asia, who's going to be the first female vice president. And just today, I heard another congresswoman talking about, racial equality and how that's going to be one at top of mind. Let's just hope we can get some control of the Senate so we can get some of this stuff done. Because today, another African-American man is sitting there with sandwiches, putting his key into the front door, and you get shot by a sheriff or a cop. I mean, this stuff just has to stop.
Yeah. The divine feminine is coming in. It's a time for a new age.
That Age of Aquarius, that was a play a long time ago, like all these things are coming to fruition right now.
Yeah, this is the time, magical time.
The magical time. Okay, and then one last question for you, because it just dawned on me. So if somebody's a certain religion, how would this? Because I know in the Jewish religion they have a mystical Kabbalah,
Yeah,
and in the mystical part of Kabbalah, what's Chabad? People that are Chabad and way on the right of Judaism, they actually believe in past lives, but they don't tell you about it. It's all
yeah,
part of the Zohar, right? In Catholic religion, American Catholics don't talk about it, but if you talk to the Latina Catholics, they're a lot more mystical and spiritual than you would imagine. And then on the Muslim religion, there's also a spiritual part of that. But again, the mainstream never hears about that part. Of course, Buddhism and Hinduism talk about past lives, but can you be an American Catholic and get an Akashic reading and not go to hell? I mean, now those questions come up, right?
it's funny. A lady asked me, I think it was last week or the week before, can I have this reading and still be friends with Jesus? Something like that. And I went, of course, it's divine. It's not against any religion. Even some people need, like, it's not religion and spirituality are two different things. So if you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. If you're Catholic or if you're Jewish, it doesn't matter. All I'm giving you is information about your life. I'm not going to try and alter your religious views or spiritual views. I'm just telling you who you really are and what you can achieve in this life. And it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Jew, Muslim. I do readings for Muslims. There's no problem at all.
That's
It's
very
just information. Yeah.
well. I mean, this has been, for me, like, I've even learned things when I thought I learned a lot from you. Now I've even learned more from you. I mean, I could talk to you all night. But everybody go and visit Neil's website, globalakasha.com. And he's also on Instagram and Twitter as @globalakasha. And I'll write that down. And I see you doing your own YouTube channel at some point here.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, but I haven't put anything on yet.
I'm psychic, and I see that Neil can have his own.
Yeah. Soon. And TikTok soon.
And TikTok.
Yeah.
So, and then on the Heart of Life Connection, we started a store, the Heart of Life Collection, where there's crystals and other things. So please check out the store on the store page of this website. Any last words, Neil?
Rise of women.
Rise of women. I love it. Go women.
Yeah, go women.